According to recent research from Alcatel-Lucent, there is strong demand for broadband use in this region. In fact, more than 80% of internet users at cafes and at work are interested in having a broadband subscription at home, if of course they don't already have it, while existing broadband users show extremely high level of satisfaction. Valérie Faudon is Corporate Chief Marketing Officer at Alcatel-Lucent, and she joins us right here in our booth at Communicasia. Valérie, it's a real pleasure to have you with us today.
Good morning.
You know, I'm really interested in the market survey that you recently completed in some of the countries right out here in the region, such as Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam and the Philippines, on the broadband services that people are either using or want to use. What were your key findings?
Our objective was to understand the broadband needs of consumers in this region, and our key findings were first, on internet cafe users and people who are using today internet at work, a very strong interest in having a personal broadband connection. As you mentioned, 80% said they were interested, more than 90% said they intended to purchase a broadband connection. But when asked, is broadband available in the area where you live, more than 30% said even it was not available or that they didn't know, which suggests that there will be a very strong demand provided that the service providers make these services affordable.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also wondering how linked broadband connectivity and socioeconomic development is. I mean, to what extent in this new era are we seeing that the haves and has-nots actually refer to broadband connection as opposed to in the past when it might have been a silver service?
Yeah, well, actually, our belief in Alcatel-Lucent is our vision is broadband for all.
Yes.
So we do believe that broadband is a necessity for social and economic development, and we work on business modeling and service modeling with service providers to understand which services are needed for each segment. If we take the existing broadband user segment, our findings was, for instance, in Malaysia, where it's the second year in a row when we conduct the survey, usage of voice over IP has tripled in Malaysia in less than 12 months. Usage of video streaming online has doubled. So changes have been evolving very rapidly.
Is that the fastest market in terms of adoption and usage?
Exactly. We've been really stricken by how fast it has evolved in less than a year. Another very important evolution in the region, in the existing broadband users, is that more of them are equipped with laptops. Right? So on one side, we see a potential evolutions toward triple play offers, and on the other side, we also see a high potential for nomadic broadband usage.
Valérie, the flip side of that, if Malaysia is one of the fastest in terms of broadband connectivity, which was the slowest market to take this up?
Well, we have a specific program, as I said, Broadband for All, targeted to high-growth economy, because everywhere in the world, on countries that are today in the early percentage adoption of broadband, we see these countries leapfrogging. They're going extremely fast. They're adopting the latest technology, such as IP, and not only for radical cost efficiencies, because they need to make broadband available, but as well for service innovation.
You know, I was really interested in the finding that of the vast majority, 80% of the people that you polled were actually quite satisfied with their existing broadband.
Extremely.
That really surprised me, because we're here in Singapore, a highly developed, highly connected market, and yet my broadband service at home is always going down.
Well, many people come from dial-up, and when we ask people what is the main benefits of broadband, they actually say, well, it's an always-on connection. It's easy for me to connect to the internet. We have to see that for many people, they either come from the internet, from the dial-up world, or we have today to go to the internet cafe. So having broadband at home is really a fantastic benefit.
We can't live well. Increasingly, we can't live without it. Once you've tried it, you can't live without it. Are there any differences that you found in terms of developing economies, any developed economies in terms of broadband usage or desires, what they want?
Actually, the big difference we see is that we're in mature market. Broadband has come, on the wireline side, because there was a lot of copper footprint, as well as DSL was the only technology available. On high growth economies, we see the market is quite open, and we see, both mobile service providers and fixed service provider competing for this market, leveraging wireless broadband. So that's why we believe it's going to be extremely fast, because all the technologies are here today, to make these services available at an affordable price.
That is a really good catch cry, broadband for all. Good initiative. Thanks very much for joining us today. Valérie Faudon, Corporate Chief Marketing Officer at Alcatel-Lucent, joining us right here live at Communicasia.